Hello everyone. Today's topic of discussion is factor and remainder theorem. This is a video especially for ACT students, and this topic that we'll be discussing today or that we'll be covering today is basically a part of the chapters functions and polynomials. Okay. So we'll be understanding what is factor and remainder theorem, and then again we'll be solving questions on that. All right. Okay, let's understand. So let's say suppose if I give you this question, most of you would be already knowing what is factor theorem, what is remainder theorem. I just want to introduce a different perspective to the theorem, okay? That's all what this video is for. Let's suppose if I ask you, find the remainder when x square plus 6x plus 1 is divided by x plus 2. You need to find the remainder when the polynomial x square plus 6x plus 1 is divided by x plus 2. Now, what we generally do whenever we get a question like this, we follow the method that is known as the long division method. Okay. So what do we do in the long division method is, we're gonna have x square plus 6x plus 1, and which is basically the dividend, and x plus 2, which will basically be the divisor. Okay. Then we're gonna start dividing. So I'm gonna multiply x plus 2 with x. So x becomes my quotient. This will become x square plus 2x. I'm going to subtract x square plus 2x from x square plus 6x plus 1. I'm going to get 4x plus 1. Then I'm going to have quotient as 4. Then this will become 4x plus 8. And your remainder is minus 7. So basically the bottom line is, you can write x square plus 6x plus 1. That will be equal to x plus 2 into the quotient x plus 4 minus the remainder, which is basically in this case it's minus the remainder. Generally it's plus the remainder, but in this case we have negative 7. That's why minus 7. That's the whole point. Now this here is basically known as our general theorem of divisibility rule. Dividend is equal to divisor multiplied by quotient plus the remainder. Now there is another way of understanding this. Okay. Now when I taught you functions, the basics of functions, what I told you was that whenever you talk about the term function basically works like an industry or like a manufacturing unit. You provided an input value, it's going to give you an output value. That's all the role that function performs. For example, let's suppose I give you a function fx is equal to x plus 2. You provide an input value of x is equal to 1. You're going to get an output value of fx is equal to 3 or y is equal to 3 if you want to replace fx by y. Provide input value of x is equal to 10, you'll get an output value of x is equal to 12. Provide input value of x is equal to 4, you'll get an output value of fx is equal to 6, and so on and so forth. So we're going to relate the factor theorem and the remainder theorem to this principle. Now when I'm saying that I'm dividing x square plus 6x plus 1 by x plus 2, what I'm basically saying is that you provide an input value of x is equal to minus 2 and tell me what will be the output. When I am saying that divide x square plus 6x plus 1 by x plus 2, what I am basically saying is that provide an input value of x is equal to minus 2 and tell me the output value. This output value is nothing but your remainder. This output value is nothing but your remainder. And in order to calculate the input value, what you will do is you're going to take the divisor and you're going to put this equal to 0 and you're going to calculate the input value. So rather than like using the long division method and rather than saying that divide x square plus 6x plus 1 by x plus 2, what you can simply say is that provide an input value of x is equal to minus 2 and let's calculate the output value. So when you will provide an input value of x is equal to minus 2, then this will become minus 2 square plus 6 into minus 2 plus 1, so that is 4 minus 12 plus 1, which will again come out to be minus 7. So you can see that we are getting exactly the same answer. We are getting exactly the same answer. So this is basically what the remainder theorem is all about. Rather than doing the long division method, simply do this, that's it. This is what they expect you to know in the exam. They don't expect you to know this long division method, it's not required. They want you to know what is meant by the term function. It's a relationship between input value and output value. Whether you have a remainder, whether you have a factor, it doesn't matter. You need to know that theorem. Okay, so this is basically what the remainder theorem is. You're going to take your divisor, you're going to put that equal to 0. Whatever value of x you're going to get, you're going to put that as an input value, and whatever output value you're going to get, that will be your remainder. Now the second thing that comes is what is the factor theorem? What do you mean by factor theorem? Now what do you mean by factor? Let's say suppose if I give you a question, let me remove this. So the question goes something like this: find the remainder when x square plus 2x plus 1 is divided by x plus 1. You need to find the remainder when x square plus 2x plus 1 is divided by x plus 1. Now, once we are done solving this question, you would realize that the factor theorem is nothing but subset of a remainder theorem and nothing else. It's a special case of a remainder theorem. Okay, so let's start the division process. So x plus 1, this is x square plus 2x plus 1 multiplied by x, this will become x square plus x, subtract it, so this will become x plus 1, so this will be plus 1 and this will be x plus 1 and the remainder will come out to be 0. So the bottom line is we can write x square plus 2x plus 1 as x plus 1 into x plus 1 plus 0. Again, basically the fundamentals of the divisibility rule, and that's it, nothing else. Okay, now the point is, if I'm going to do this question with that other method, the function definition, then what I'm basically asking you is that you provide an input value of x plus 1 is equal to 0, which is x is equal to minus 1 in the function x square plus 2x plus 1, and let's calculate the output value. This is what we are trying to say. You provide an input value of x plus 1 is equal to 0, that is x is equal to minus 1 in the function x square plus 2x plus 1 and calculate the output value. So if I'm going to put my input value as negative 1, then this will become, output will become negative 1 square plus 2 into negative 1 plus 1, which is basically equal to 0. So when the input value is x is equal to negative 1, then your output is 0. And whenever your output is 0, then input is known as the factor. Whenever the output is 0, then input is known as the factor. So if your output is 0, then the input becomes a factor. If output is not 0, then it's simply a remainder theorem, or you're simply dividing it, that's it. That's what the factor theorem and remainder theorem is all about. So the basic point is that in your SAT exam, you are supposed to use this method. This is what they are testing you on. They don't expect you to use this. Now you can do that. I'm not saying you can't, but they want to test you on the second method. That is the basics of on how you define the functions. Okay, what's an input value, what's an output value. Okay, let's solve like couple of questions. It's a very simple thing, very frankly. It's a very simple thing. You simply have to follow the procedure and that's it. And you do get a question on this. You do get a lot of questions from functions, and one of the questions will be from this topic. Okay, let's see. So it says that x minus 4 is a factor of this function. What is the value of the constant p? Now, if it's saying that x minus 4 is a factor, if x minus 4 is a factor of this function, that means put x minus 4 equal to 0 and then you'll calculate x is equal to 4. If x minus 4 is a factor of this polynomial, then that basically means that when your input value is x is equal to 4, then your output is 0. That basically means when your input value is x is equal to 4, then your output is 0. This is basically what it means. Because it's using that term factor. It's not saying that when we are going to divide x cube minus 4x plus p by x minus 4, then calculate the value of p or then calculate the remainder. It is specifying that x minus 4 is the factor, which means when the input value is 4, then the output value is 0. So you are basically providing an input value of x is equal to 4 to x cube minus 4x plus p. So let's do that. So it's going to be 4 cube minus 4 into 4 plus p, and this is equal to 0. 64 minus 16 plus p is equal to 0. Or you're going to get that p is equal to negative 48. So the value of p is negative 48. That is all that you have to do. That long division method, it's not required anymore. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so pause the video and try this question, please. All right, let's see what we can do with this one. So it says that if x plus p is a factor of this polynomial, then find the relationship between p and k. Again, it's saying that x plus p is a factor, which means first of all, you're going to put x plus p is equal to 0. You will get x is equal to negative p. So when your input value is negative p, your output is 0. This is basically what it's saying. When your input value is negative p, your output is 0. So my function is x square plus kx minus 12 and my output is 0. My input is negative p. So let's plug in the value. Negative p square plus k into negative p minus 12 is 0. So p square minus kp, this will be equal to 12. This will be p, or I can write p square minus 12 is kp. This would be much better. And k is p square minus 12 by p, or you can write k is p minus 12 by p. That is all that you have to do. This will be the relationship between p and k. So you will get one of the options in this form. You have to take that and simply move on forward. Again, very simple thing. Use that concept of of like how do we define this term function, okay, like a relationship between input and output value. All right, let's move on. Okay, pause the video and try this question, please. Now this is in the exam, this will come as an objective question. I've intentionally made it a subjective question just so that we understand the basics, okay. So try this one out. All right, let's try this one. Let's understand this. So I have a polynomial h of y. Okay, so I have a polynomial in terms of y, no problem. Let it be in terms of h of y. The value of h of -9. Now when you say the value of h of -9, that means your input is -9. This is basically equal to 6. This is basically equal to 6. So explain the statement in terms of factor and remainder theorem. So it's basically saying that when input is -9, then your output is 6. When your input is -9, your output is 6. This is what this statement means. So in terms of factor or remainder theorem, what I can say is that when h of y is divided by y plus 9, then remainder is 6. Because I told you that whatever is your output, that is basically your remainder. And whatever is your input, that is basically your divisor. So if you are getting input that is equal to -9, how would you get -9? You need to have y plus 9, because only when you're going to put y plus 9 equal to 0, from there you're going to get y is equal to -9. So when your input is -9, your output is 6, or when h of y is divided by y plus 9, the remainder is 6. This is basically what it means. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, pause the video and try this question, please. All right, let's solve this one. If a is a constant in the polynomial is given to us where y plus 2 is a factor of the polynomial, then find the value of a. Again, it's saying that y plus 2 is a factor. That means when we are going to provide an input value of y is equal to -2, in this polynomial, then my output is 0. Then my output is 0, or my remainder is 0. So 2 into -2 cube plus 4 into -2 square plus ax into -2 minus 14x is equal to 0. So minus 16 plus 16 minus 2ax minus 14x is 0. So 2ax is equal to minus 14x, or a is equal to -7. Or a is equal to -7. That's your answer. Again, you don't need to use that long division method. That's the whole purpose of this video, guys. That's it, nothing else. Okay. All right, let's move on. We have 2 more questions to solve. Pause the video and try this one. Alright, let's try this one. So this polynomial is divided by 4x minus 2. So 4x minus 2 should be equal to 0. That means x will be equal to 1 by 2. So rather than saying that this is divided by 4x minus 2, I can simply say that I have an input value of half in the function. I'm providing an input value of half and I'm asking to calculate the output value. Let's do that. So this is 24 into half square plus 7 into half minus 23. So 24 by 4 plus 3.5 minus 23. So 6 plus 3.5 minus 23. So this is like 9.5 minus 23. 10 minus 23 is minus 13. Add an additional 0.5. So this is negative 13.5. And this is your answer. So again, you don't need to use that long division method. Okay. Let's try one more question. And you do get questions like these only, okay? It's not that difficult. It's a very easy thing. It's an easy topic for the chapter functions and polynomials. And like a lot of things which we have covered in functions and polynomials, like shifting of graph, understanding this factor and remainder theorem, right? Apart from that, we also discussed equating the coefficients. Then we also discussed different type of functions. Like we discussed the quadratic part in detail, like how do you draw a parabola, the vertex form of the parabola, the root form of the parabolic equation, how do you calculate roots, how do you interpret roots. So all those things are like but logical you need to understand, but this part is like fairly easy. Okay. All right, so try this last one and then we are done with this video. Okay, so I need to find the value of a plus b when hx is divisible by x plus 2 into x minus 1. Now see, when you use this word divisible, then this basically means that your remainder is 0. If the remainder is not 0, then the question is something like this: when the polynomial is divided by 4x minus 2, divided by, when you use that word divisible, then it's axiomatic, then the remainder is 0. Okay, divisible, when you say the word divisible, it means remainder is 0. So that means x plus 2 into x minus 1, put that equal to 0, you're going to get two input values, that is x is equal to negative 2 and x is equal to 1. So whether you provide x is equal to negative 2 as an input value or x is equal to 1 as an input value, your remainder is 0. So let's do that. Let's start with 1 first of all. So this is 2 into 1 cube plus a into 1 plus b by 1, this is equal to 0. So a plus b is equal to negative 2. That's the first equation. Then let's use the second equation. So 2 into negative 2 cube plus a into negative 2 plus b by negative 2, this is also equal to 0. So negative 8 into 2 is negative 16 minus 2a minus b by 2 is 0. So I'm going to get that 16 is equal to negative 2a negative b by 2. Okay, so what can I do? Like I can take the LCM and this will become like negative 32 is equal to 4a plus b. So one equation is this, one equation is this. So let's name the equations also. This is 1 and let's call this as 2. Now from the first, b is negative 2 negative a. From the second one, b is negative 32 negative 4a. Let's equate them. -2 -a is -32 -4a. So let's take -4a on the other side. This will become 3a. This is equal to -30, or you'll get a is equal to -10. If a is -10, then I can say that -10 plus b is -2 using the first equation, and b is 8. Or in fact, you don't need to do this also. It's simply asking a plus b. So this will simply come out to be -2. But if in case, if they ask you something else regarding a and b, in that case you need the value of a and b. But this is the point, is basically this is how you can do it. You don't need the long division method. It's not required. And of course, in this case, long division method will not be an easy thing to do. Okay. So the whole purpose of asking these questions to you in the exam is whether you know the basics of function or not. Whether you know that what's exactly an input value, what's exactly an output value. That's basically what they are testing. All right. So that will be all, guys, for this video. We have more or less covered everything in functions. I think only the graph part is left on how to draw something. But apart from that, more or less, we have done everything. Okay. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't for more videos and exam related content on SAT, GMAT and GRE. If you have any doubts, if you have any concerns, if you have any questions, you can ask us anytime. You can WhatsApp me, you can mail me. And if you're looking for personalized classes for SAT, GMAT and GRE, then you can always connect with us. Alright guys, thank you so much. Keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much.